Okay, we're back from break in 2 seconds. Alright. So the antes are starting to come in now. And it's really going to be time to move here. We're not feeling the pressure just yet, but in another blind level or two, we're going to have to start taking some chances if we don't catch anything. But there's still some room for speculation. But other than that, if we get low, we're going to have to find a loose, aggressive player and take our chances. We obviously have a couple of people who fit that bill at this table. So that's the game plan heading into hour number 2. This is a re-entry, but I probably won't be re-entering. So we got 58 big blinds at the moment. I don't typically re-enter tournaments. I just don't. It's not really my thing. I like to take one shot. I don't want to be in there for 5, 6, 7 bullets and all of a sudden I got a final table to break even. I see tournaments as kind of a lottery. You grind the cash games or the sit and goes to build your bankroll, and you play the tournaments just to see if you can hit that big payday every once in a while. And it's fun, it's a challenge. The competition's pretty good. So we got 336 people in so far, 224 remain. Actually, we can see here, we're not too far behind the average stack. We're 102 of 223 at the moment. It's a $100 guaranteed prize pool. I doubt they're going to hit that. They're not even at $35 yet. But they've got another 8 levels of late reg. Two biggest stacks at the table seem to just can't stay out of each other's way. Wow. Dude just never folds. Pocket pair, pretty easy open. We know ballin just never folds, so we're not even going to try to do anything unless we hit our set, which we do. Although the board is pretty wet. Wow. 4-6, 8-6. Okay. Well, so we're 2 for 3 on sets today. We're certainly not lacking sets. So we're back up. We're now pretty comfortable. We can open ace jack. Well, I don't think we will be playing out of position for a, what, 6 times my raise. You can have my 180, sir. Happy to see a free flop. Yeah, right. And guys raising 31% of the hands. And what are we limp shoving with? What are we limp shoving 133 big blinds with? I'm guessing a big hand, ace king, aces, ace jack. That's not at all what I thought he had. Wow. Okay. Got ourselves a nice blackjack hand. Can't really double it down and hold them though. I am by far the tightest. Well, not by far. Burns hasn't played too many hands, but everybody else has played a. Everyone else has a VPIP of 33% or higher, outside of me and Burns 101. And I'm not saying that tight poker is the right poker. I'm just saying we got a very wild table. So who knows? Maybe we'll actually get to see past 9 o'clock for the first time. I haven't made it to the 3rd hour. I don't think. Did I make it to the 3rd hour? I know I didn't last night. And I'm not sure about the night before. I don't think I did. But one of the strategies, I guess you could call it, is to buy in right at the last second of late registration, because there'll only be maybe, say they're paying 81 players. By the end of late registration, there's probably down to like 110 people left. And I've done that a couple times and I've had some success with it. I've won a tournament doing that, you know. I don't know if it's a long-term winning strategy. I think there's a lot to be gained from playing the early levels. But, you know, for some people who just want to get a 6 big blind stack and see if they can run it up, well, you know, it's fun. I'm not going to say it's not. I just don't know how profitable it is. So we're over the average stack. That's always a good thing. King 10 suited. It's a hand we'll open for sure. I mean, if Anthony makes something stupid, we'll fold, but if he just makes a standard raise, which he doesn't, so we'll just come in for 3 times the big blind. And in a pot like this, where we know that there's people that are just not going to fold, we're just going to give it up. We're not going to try and bluff. Ballin's going to call anything. We've already seen him do that, so we're just hopefully see a free turn card, and if we don't, we're just going to fold. No reason to get involved. These guys are going to smash themselves around and knock each other out, and we're just going to sit here. We've got a nice stack. We're not in any real danger. But these guys play 75, 100 big blind pots every time. We're just going to put the money in when we know we're good. Or we're getting the right pot odds. $40-80 blinds with a 10 ante. So there's 210 in the middle before the first card even comes off. It's almost 10% of the starting stack. I'm sorry, it's not, because they raised the starting stacks to 3,000 for the weekend games, or at least for the Saturday night game. Unfortunately, I won't be able to play this tomorrow, or for the rest of the week. I won't be able to play it till Friday night. Yep, tomorrow's the same thing. Tomorrow's $100 guaranteed. $7-8 off. See you later. Would have flopped the bottom end of or would have rivered the bottom end of a straight. Eight-5 suited. Not a hand we're looking to get involved with unless we can see a free flop. Hit a flush draw. And we've got a gut shot to a straight flush. Again, we don't have a made hand, so there's no reason to try to get value. We know Ballen's almost never folding anything reasonable. Even though we've made third pair, we're just not going to do anything with it. Five deuce on the button, even though it's suited. Don't get stupid and play things like this. There's no reason to. Ballen has never folded to a steal. Play angry probably isn't going to fold to a 3x bet. That's fine, you know, to have people like that in your blinds is okay. Keeps you out of trouble. You know, again, let them make mistakes. Would have flopped the wheel. But more often than not, it's going to come Jack 7-9 rainbow, and we're going to fold and lose a small portion of our stack. Yeah, it's one of those tables where anybody could have anything at this point. Looks like the first bet's going to take it down. Bootlegger might be tempted to steal. Wow. Overbets the pot. Wonder what he had. So I believe the blinds going up soon. Yeah, 1 minute. We'll be at 5,100 with a 10 ante. So we'll be at about 63 big blinds, which is still plenty of poker. I really don't even start thinking about shoving till at least 20 big blinds or less. And in a tournament like this, I might shove as high as 20 big blinds just because there's a lot of people that are willing to call off. So if we can get our money in reasonably well and try to build back up to 40, 45, 50 big blinds, whatever kind of dead money's in there already. Not gonna play the 7 deuce. Eights took a gamble there. But, I mean, 4-4-6 has been pretty active, so eights aren't that out of line. I mean, hey, even the guys that play 90% of hands, they're going to get aces just as often as anyone else. And they're probably going to get paid off when they have them too. Yeti and the button seem like they're going to go at it again. And you don't know if he knows it's his turn or not. I think if he min-raised, he would at least stick around to see what's going on. Unless he's just putting on some drama. Fortunately, WPN doesn't have the find a player feature. I don't think they do anyways. If they do, I haven't found it yet. That says like how many tables people are playing and all this other stuff. So you can't tell if he's just playing 30 tables or what he's doing. Most of the people at this level I wouldn't imagine are multi-tabling. If they have the bankroll for it, they're probably playing higher. Maybe he got disconnected. Pretty solid bet from Call the Queen. Just came to the table, so there's not really any information that we know about them. Could be top pair. Could be an overpair. Two pretty solid bets from the flop and turn, so I would guess at least ace queen. Okay, I was way off. Thanks for stopping by, I guess. I don't know. And again, we're just probably not going to push angry off anything. No one has attempted to steal on him yet. And I'm certainly not going to try with his numbers. His VPIP is 34%. I just don't see how we're going to get anything throw against him unless it's something of big value. Wow. 126 big blind pot. And he just lost a third of his stack. Wow. At one point he had like 300 big blinds. A couple of limps in front of me. I don't mind taking a shot with this. If it was folded around to me, it would be a fold, but with two limps, I'm getting 4.3 to 1 odds. And again, we flopped nothing, and that's fine. We put in our big blind, we took a shot, we missed, no big deal. If we turn a spade, maybe there's something to talk about. Okay, well now we have something to talk about. You know, I'm not going to bet it out, but if somebody bet it. Okay. If somebody made some small bet, I probably would have called. But again, we just got too many people that can't be bluffed. So what do you do against those people? You don't bluff them. And I think that's where a lot of people get really frustrated with online poker, especially at these levels. they run into these people that they just can't bluff, and they're like, how do you play against them? It's like, well, stop making plays into them. Don't bluff them. If you can't make a hand against them, it's not your night. But when you do make a hand against them, you gotta go for value. Don't be afraid to raise top pair, top kicker if that's ahead of their range. Don't be afraid to raise or check raise middle pair if you think they're on a draw. Whatever the situation calls for. Something like this. And look at this. We got the guy to spaz out. Jack queen suited. There we go. Absolutely no reason to just jam queen jack suited in there. You're never going to get called unless you're just miles behind. I mean, what did he put in there? It was he put in almost 15,000. Well, I mean, I only had 56, so even still, he's putting in 5,600 to win 3, 4, 5, about 600 chips. What are you doing? Well, we've got a good stack now. We're over 100 big blinds. We're at 102 big blinds, actually. And, I mean, really, have we done anything that fancy? Saw a couple of cheap flops when we had some hands. Or when we had some speculative hands. The only big pot we lost all night was when we got set over set. Now we're, 26 of 230. We've got almost double the average stack. Late reg will close in about 50 minutes. And we're 20 minutes away from the next break. So, you don't always have to do the Tom Dwan, Gus Hansen, 3-bet, 4-bet, 5-bet, 9 high. Especially at these levels. Just let them make mistakes. And I've been doing the free rolls and stuff for a while now. I've got 37 races, and my average all in percentage is 53.6%. Like you can consistently find yourself the favorite as long as you just play tight. Look for reasons to not get involved early. Look for reasons to get involved late. And then just kind of watch the Looney Tunes here. So this is a semi-new table. I have some stats on Why Are You Mad, but nothing too interesting. Excuse me. Yeah, nothing too interesting other than he does have 90-37 for his VPIP and PFR. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about when I say those things, while we have a couple minutes here, VPIP stands for voluntarily put into pot, or put money into pot. Sometimes it's called VP $IP, but ooh, rip. Okay, yeah. So VPIP is how often somebody's participating in a pot voluntarily. So if you limp in, that increases your VPIP. If you raise, that increases it compared to the number of hands that you've seen. So if you've seen 50 hands and if you've been dealt 50 hands and you entered the pot 25 of those hands, you'd have a VPIP of 50. And PFR is pre-flop raise. So that's anytime you've raised or re-raised the pot, or re-raised pre-flop. So again, if you saw 50 hands and you raised 5 of them, you would have a pre-flop raise of 10. So to have a VPIP of 86 means he's seeing 86% of the hands. There's typically not 86%. 86% of the deck is not seeable. A typical tournament player might be, I don't know, maybe 15. I'm trying to think as high as maybe 25. I think even 25 is a bit high. Especially at a full ring table. Obviously, your VPIP and your numbers will increase if you're playing 6 max or heads up. But for a full ring tournament table, so I knock things over. For a full ring no limit tournament table, 15 to 25. And even less than 15, it depends. A lot of this is just, depends on what kind of table you have. If you have a very tight table, you could be stealing a lot more. If you have a very loose table, you're probably going to want to drop your numbers a bit and tighten your ranges up. Okay, so we're at 6120. Oh, that's still the same blinds that we were on a few minutes ago. I thought they went up with a 15 ante. Ace 6 against Ace 4. So the problem with tournaments also is that you don't get a lot of time to spend with people. So anyone that we thought might have been weak at the other table, it's not any good to us now. But we'll make some reads and make some notes on some other people. We see Cleaner's back. And Cleaner seems to have reasonable numbers. So we're not going to make too many wild moves against someone like him that's playing with some sort of rationality. A min raise and a caller. we're out of position with 8 high. Not a chance. Okay, there's the new blind level. 75, 150. And this is a hand we'll definitely play. I don't know too much about Die by River, but we're gonna punish his limp here, or we're gonna get punished ourselves. Queen 9, 10 king, and we had the best hand. Not anymore. Okay, well, that saved us some money. So if he folds and if the big blind folds and Die by River flats, then we're probably continuation betting that flop. I see you donks. It's all in again for twice the pot. Flop to set. I don't know what. I guess king. I guess the guy with king 8 only had few hundred chips left. Should probably start taking some notes here. I haven't done that in a while. Okay, open. Okay, open raises. God, if I could spell, that would be fantastic right now. Okay, that's not the same guy, so we don't need to put notes on him. Defend small blind, king 8 suited. And then donks open raised early. The pocket fives. And Die by River, he did open limp them. Open limp, middle position, king 10 suited. Okay, so we got a few notes on some of these guys for later. So I think this will be the first time we make it to the third hour. As long as we don't blow up in the next 8 minutes, which I don't really see happening. We got 5 minutes to 100, 200 blinds. We're going to fold the ace-9. If we're in middle position, a couple of limpers, I wouldn't mind seeing it, but I don't want to open it from that early. I don't think I'm ever opening it from that early in any buy-in tournament. So this has been good. We did Hearthstone earlier. We did that for a few hours. Did some recording with that. That was a lot of fun, and we're pretty deep into the $100 guaranteed tournament. So this will be something I try to do a couple times a week. Hopefully do them more so once we get the bankroll established. Start playing sit and goes and cash games. Maybe try to do the jackpot spin and goes, or the sit and go 2.0 and the spin and goes. Not big fans of them, but if there's a demand for it, I don't mind. Maybe try some Omaha and some stud. There's actually usually a decent stud game going on here. Oops. 40-80 cent. It used to be a $4, $8 game that used to run almost non-stop. Well, maybe that's high-low I'm thinking of. Well, there's a 1-2 high-low running. 7-card stud high-low. But yeah, we'll definitely explore the site and try some different games. I'm certainly not the best at any of them, but I love to play. I love the different novelties and different variations. It's actually kind of sad they only have these many different, they only have a certain amount of different games. Back when PokerStars was available in the US, I was playing triple draw, 5-card draw. I love the draw games. Started to lightly play some Badugi for those that have any idea what I'm talking about. Actually, I made a final table in a Badugi tournament a couple times. That was when people didn't know anything about the game. You could, if you had common sense, you could make a final table in a Badugi tournament. They didn't get too many people. I think maybe 60, 70 people might have played. That wasn't on PokerStars. That was on Merge, maybe? I think it was Merge. When they had when that site was the next big thing. They had Carbon, and they had a bunch of different sites. I think Black Chip Poker was on Merge, and then they switched to Winning Poker Network. I think. I don't quote me on that, but I think that's how it went down. I could be thinking of some other site though. Again, min raise, 3-bet. Ace-9 suited does not play well against those hands, so away it goes. And we are almost on break. I think actually after this hand we'll probably be on break. So I'm going to go grab some water and cut this off and post it to the YouTube channel and head on back for part 3. Maybe we have one more hand. Sevens I'm totally fine limping along with. See if we can flop ourselves a set. This will be what, set number 4 if we can hit it. Nope. And we're not going to try and pull off anything fancy. We don't know anything about Boyd. But someone's going to call for us, and that is going to put us on break as soon as this hand's done. But I'd like to see how this hand plays out, because I'd like to see what he was donk betting with. I mean, I guess it wasn't really a donk bet if we all limped, but I guess he's got a 9. Oh well, we'll never know. Alright, so we'll be back in a few minutes and start part 3.